Oh, hi guys, Ezra Levant here. How you doing? It's Thursday. Normally on Thursdays, David Menzies is in this chair, and our friend Sheila Gunn-Reid is in her Alberta outpost. But two things changed today. Number one, David is down at Adamson's BBQ in Etobicoke, because that is the big story. And I thought, David, you got to go cover that. Be with your people. So I'll hold the fort here. Now, Sheila, who is in the Tuesday and Thursday Super Chats, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I don't know quite what it is. She can hear us, but we can't hear her. So while that is worked out, you will have to make do with me. I apologize for that. I look forward to us just ironing out the wrinkle with Sheila. She's the best. We're going to talk a lot about Adamson's BBQ. There's a lot of meaning there. There's a lot of things going on there. I think in a way the issue has been percolating for months. Will someone show courage? There's lots of individual finds and whatnot, but here's a restaurateur. He's a bit of a local celebrity. What I mean by that, if you want to throw his website on the screen, Justin, is I did not know he had 3 stores. I myself have eaten at his Leaside barbecue store, the best barbecue in Toronto. And that's not like saying the tallest short guy. I mean, there's some good restaurants in this city, as you can see by my svelte appearance. It really is the best, and it was like a fan of foodies and hipsters everywhere. So he's a bit of a well-known restaurant celebrity, and unbeknownst to me, he opened 2 other joints. We showed some of his Instagram photos yesterday, which were just so sexy. It's the kind of thing that food photographers would call food porn. I mean, it really makes you want to Instagram your meals when you go there. If you want to show some of those images, Justin, just unbelievable food in the real Texas style. I don't know if you want to just click on some of their gallery there. Yeah, look at that. Like, just holy mackerel. So this guy was beloved by all the cool kids when he was selling food. But now that he's selling food, when they tell him don't sell food, well, they've demonized him. And that's part of the story today. I hear in my ear that we have fixed the audio problems with Sheila, and she joins us now live from Northern Alberta. Sheila, great to see you.
Hi, boss. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah, no problems. I held the fort on my own while we got that reconnected. It's nice to see you. I was just telling folks that the reason I'm here instead of Dave Menzies is that David was down at Adamson's today. David has a busy day because, Sheila, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you did hear this. I think it's spreading. The resistance is spreading. David is off to a gym that has decided to say, look, we're going out of business anyways, we may as well go down fighting. And there's another store, I won't say what kind because I think it's a scoop that only we have. There's another store that's saying to heck with it. This is our busy season. If we're shut down, we're going out of business. This is the kind of moment, I don't know if you know that old movie, I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. Yeah. You want to grab a 5-second clip of that, JT, just so we can remind people? It might get it. Well, we can show a 5-second clip. If all the weight of the state is pointed like an inverted pyramid on one guy, I don't care what you're made of, you're going to crumple. No one person can withstand that. But if one person turns to 2 and two turns to 3, and pretty soon you've got a movement, well, I think that could be a turning point, and the public health deep state knows it, Sheila.
Yeah, I was watching some of the footage from David's visit yesterday to Adamson's, and you can hear in the background footage other businesses saying, I'm going to open, or people saying this business down the street has seen what you're doing here and they're going to open too. It's creating a snowball that's headed down the hill, and I hope it hits Doug Ford squarely in the face, because the amount of demonization that this person, Adam Skelly, is experiencing for just trying to keep his head above water, keep his dream of being a restaurateur alive and employ his staff. Yeah. He's being demonized by the media, the politicians. They're treating him like he's going around killing people's grandparents. That's not what he's doing.
You're not even exaggerating. Yeah. There's some hate sites out there on the left that I'm not even going to link to or ask Justin to show us. They're implying that he's a white supremacist. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, it's absurd. I'm laughing because it's absurd, and it shows how demonic the left is. We showed a picture yesterday taken by Joe Warmington, posted to Twitter, of what looked like a social club or a gym club. There's a couple of Sikh fellas, there's a black guy. It's a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-background, high class, middle class, working class, like it's everybody there. It's predominantly working class people, because the pink collar, white collar world, they're loving the staycation. The last 7 months have been a staycation for them. Teachers unions, they haven't lost a penny of pay, but they haven't worked in months. The government class, the political class, the judges, the journalists. So they're saying, hey, don't upset the apple cart. Know your place. Your place is to be ruled. I saw today, I think it was a story in Blacklocks, that 1,300 professional athletes have received exemptions from the quarantine. Why are they better humans than me? Are they better citizens than me? As you know, we went to court to get one of our staff, Efrain Monsanto, out of quarantine. The judge says, no, sorry, you're not fancy enough. So normal people have to be in quarantine, but not the fancy. Now, if you're connected, I wonder how much Walmart donated to John Tory and Doug Ford. I wonder how much Amazon donated to John Tory and Doug Ford, because I'm calling this the Amazon lockdown. The Walmart lockdown. You can't go to Adamson's for smoked meat. You can go down the road and eat at Costco. How much did they donate to John Tory?
Well, and you can contrast this in real time to what's happening in Alberta. Jason Kenney has moved to targeted measures. So limits on, the amount of people you can have in your house for 3 weeks. But he did not go back and attack businesses. In fact, he did something else. He apologized.
Do we have that clip, Justin? I tweeted it. That was such a good moment and such a rare moment.
Jason Kenney apologized for labeling some businesses essential and some not. He called it stupid. He called it arbitrary. And he apologized. And he said, as soon as we saw the damage that it was doing, we did our best to reverse it. But you very rarely see a politician apologize for taking a heavy-handed approach and admit that they were wrong and destroyed people's lives. And it was a rare thing, and Jason Kenney did it the other day. And Jason Kenney actually called out the media and called out, I guess, the CBC, when he said it's pretty easy for people who don't stand to lose any money continuing to call for lockouts. And I think that might actually, Justin, if you're looking, that might be on the UCP Twitter feed. I know they grabbed a clip of it yesterday from Jason Kenney's speech the other day. But to see a politician in Alberta say, look, we do feel like we need to do something different, but we're not going to do what we did before, versus what is going on in Ontario right now. It's a tale of two conservative premiers, and one might actually be conservative, and one is doing everything you would expect Kathleen Wynne to do.
All right, I think we've got that clip of Jason Kenney, the Premier of Alberta. And I want to just say to our viewers, welcome. I'm here because David was on the scene at the barbecue joint. Justin, go ahead and roll the clip of Jason Kenney, and then I want to ask you about our possibility to go live to the barbecue. But here's first, just to finish the thread that Sheila and I were on, here's Jason Kenney.
Let me say something. We need to acknowledge, as we go through COVID, when we have made mistakes. This government made, I think, a grave mistake in the spring when we made, frankly, I think a stupidly arbitrary distinction between essential and non-essential retail businesses that had the unintended consequence of allowing Walmarts and Costco's to sell darn near everything because they have a grocery section or they sell pharmaceuticals, while shutting down thousands and thousands of retail small and medium-sized businesses. I talked about the fifth generation family in my remarks with this running a store in rural Alberta. 100% of their business went to the big U.S.-owned box store down the street or of course online, for 10 weeks because of that, frankly, stupid mistake that we made, for which I apologize. We tried to undo that as quickly as we saw realized it and saw the impact. But we are not doing that now, unlike other provinces that have done that.
You don't see a politician say, I apologize very often. Almost never do you see him say it was a stupid decision. I find those both hopeful things. Sheila, what do you think?
It's pretty well unheard of. And, you know, that last little bit was kind of a jab in the direction of Manitoba and Ontario when he said what we're seeing other provinces do. And boy, I hope Doug Ford is listening, because there was a real sigh of relief breathed across the province of Alberta when Jason Kenney didn't impose really draconian, onerous restrictions on our retail capacity and our restaurant owners, because 60% of them have, well, I think it's 56%, told the CFIB in recent surveys that they would not survive another lockdown. So Jason Kenney absolutely made the right choice there.
Yeah. Sheila, can you brief our viewers, because I think everybody knows by now, but what is a super chat and what do we do with them?
Definitely. So during the pandemic, of course, the mainstream media has sort of tightened down their coverage of things that are happening. They're doing less reporting, unless it is to publicly name and shame people who disagree with the pandemic lockdown. Here at Rebel News, we expanded our live stream from just 1 hour per week on Fridays with Ezra to 5 full days of the week. David and I host Tuesdays and Thursdays. Ezra hosts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's a chance for us to share the day's news with our viewers. It gives you a chance to interact with each other, everybody at home in the live chat. It's quite lively, but it also gives you a chance to do something else. Actually, two things that they don't allow you to do in the mainstream media. That's leave a comment, because the comment sections are closed. They want your bailout bucks, but they don't want to hear from you. But it also gives you a chance to support us willingly. And through something called the Super Chat, if you go to the bottom of the live chat, there's a little $sign. Click on that, throw some money in the pot there. The more money you give, the more characters you get. YouTube takes a cut. We get most of it. What it'll do is it'll highlight your comment, query, question, topic, discussion point to the top of the page, and Justin, Mr. Producer, will send it to Ezra or I in a message, and we'll read it on air. If you've got a question, we'll do our best to answer it. If it's a topic you want to put on our radar, throw it in a super chat and support the work that we do, because we're giving you a choice, unlike what the CBC does.
Yeah. Sheila, you're so great with the super chats. Excuse me. I was while you were talking, I was just glancing at some of the notes I'm getting and our schedule here. We had David and Lincoln, our cameraman, on site at the barbecue this morning.
Yeah.
I think they may be on their way to the second business that's defying the lockdown, but I think we have the second crew there. Justin, do we know if our second crew has arrived at? Okay, so I hear in my ear that they are on location, but they may be busy doing an interview right now. So, Justin, how about I leave it with you? When they're ready, you tell me. Otherwise, I'll be bugging you. Are we there yet, Dad? Are we there yet, Dad? Are we there yet, Dad? So you'll just tell me when we're there. And then, Sheila, as soon as we hear that, and I think you can hear Justin too, we'll take that. I'm very excited. But we have a lot of footage from yesterday. And I should tell you that right after this live stream, we're premiering a masterpiece of our coverage yesterday. But in the meantime, we've got a quick interview with the owner today that I'd like to play for our viewers. You got that ready, Justin? Here we go.
How are you feeling? I'm feeling amazing. Are you kidding me? Look at everybody who came out to support. I put out a call for help today, and the people have arrived. So we're going to open today, and we're going to see what the people of Toronto say, whether they want to be able to eat in a restaurant or not. You know, Doug Ford told me that as the small business owners, our sacrifices would always be remembered. But you know what? I did not sign up to be sacrificed, and this never went to a vote, and today the people of Toronto are going to...
Isn't that great? I refuse to be Doug Ford's sacrifice. If you look at Doug Ford, you know he's never sacrificed anything in his life. And for him to offer up a sacrifice of this fella, no thank you. And I like the fact that this guy is resilient. It is very rare. In the Greater Toronto area, Sheila, the city of Toronto itself proper is only about 2.5 million, but the Greater Toronto area is now 6.5 million people. It's the fourth largest megalopolis in North America. It's a big city. I guess we've only got one guy. But one guy to be the pointy end of the spear, because we hear that guy number 2 and guy number 3 are marshalling. I credit that fella, Adam Skelly. Doing it once was one thing, doing it twice, and now doing it a third time. Where does he get the steel? Where does he get the strength? Who knew he had it in him? We have ourselves a leader.
Yeah, when people have nothing to lose, they really have everything to gain, don't they? He was like the plug in the dam. And, Doug Ford and John Tory, they just pushed that little plug out, and now, all the water is coming out from behind the dam. I love watching the coverage of Adam Skelly because, well, for me, it's such like a blue-collar party. It's smoked meat. Everybody's wearing plaid.
That's right.
Playing music. They're chanting against the government. And I feel like I should be there. I feel like it's such an Albertan movement just starting in Toronto. And it makes me very envious of the team that gets to be down there. But, yeah, I guarantee you, Sticker King Doug Ford is not losing any money during this pandemic. Everybody's standing on stickers made by his company all across the Greater Toronto area. And it's guys like this who he has nothing left to lose. He's got such a beautiful family. And yesterday he said that the police have come in and have threatened his employees now with a fine. And he made a call to the crowd saying, hey, look, they're threatening my employees. I'm not, going to force them to come to work so that they can get a fine from the cops. And people were volunteering to work for him just so he could stay open. Yeah.
I think we all know that meme from Nazi Germany. It shows a crowd at Nuremberg or something, hundreds of people who dressed identically, all of them doing the Sieg Heil, one guy not. And, the meme was always, be this guy. Do you know the meme I'm talking about, Justin? And we've always said, oh, yeah, we would not have just followed orders. We would have been different. Now, I'm not equating what Doug Ford is doing with what the Nazis did, but I'm equating the groupthink, the peer pressure, the social pressure, the abandonment of our civil liberties. Absolutely, I am equating that, the mob. And in fact, it's very hard. Yeah, that's what, that's the meme. Be this guy. And we found this guy. And the fact that he's so achingly working class just irritates the fancy people even more. Can I show you a tweet by, I forget which journalist this is. It's the 5th thing on your list, Justin. So apparently some guy dressed up as Santa. Why not? And he went down there. He's wearing a mask, maybe just to hide his identity from the doxers in the media, and he's just flipping the bird to the media, and the media, how dare he? We're the priests. Know your place. You have to approach us with reverence. We are your superiors. Take a look at this. He was just coming in, just making sure all the media knew he was just flipping them the bird.
But I know inside your heart you're a human being.
Now, Justin, can you show the tweet in which that video was? Because that's even more fun to me. That's an interesting little shot, but look at what the journalist, he was appalled. How don't you know your place? How dare you have antipathy towards us? We're allowed to hate you. We're allowed to wish you unemployment, wish you bankruptcy, wish you misery. But you're not allowed to say that to us. I don't know if Justin has that handy. I think he extracted the video. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, there
so
it
it's
is.
Adrian Gabriel, a supporter dressed as Santa, has arrived to flip off the media and join the folks at Adamson BBQ in Etobicoke. And I said, your hatred for the little people is requited. I mean, watching the media has been quite amazing. Now, the cops were there at 6 a.m., raiding the joint, and the media was tipped off to be there. You can see here, how would you know to go at 6 a.m.?
Exactly.
You would know because the police and the mayor and the media are a team. People laugh at me when I say the word media party. I don't mean that literally. I mean they act like a party. And what are they doing? How did they get in there? By what warrant did they break and enter into this man's property? But that video itself, who tipped them off? And what else is being shared? Hey, Justin, last night I tweeted a statement by the city that was very interesting, a little bit legalistic. And if you can find it, I wouldn't mind reading it to our viewers. And I promise we will read the super chats. That's a promise. I just want to get a few things out there. Justin, let me know if A, we hear from our team on the ground, and okay, I just heard that David is still there and our cameraman Lincoln, but their phones are off because, and we assume that's because they're working, and so that's good. So although I I'm not very patient, I don't want to interrupt them doing their work now just for a quick hit. We'll have their more produced work later. Here's the Toronto thing, and let me just, so this was released last night from the city. City of Toronto enforcement action and next steps against Adamson BBQ. This morning, so this was written yesterday. City of Toronto Municipal Licensing and Standards Bylaw Officers, Toronto Public Health Inspectors, and Toronto Police Service Officers once again attended Adamson BBQ at 7 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard. Now get this. Enforcement is determined and undertaken by law enforcement and city staff only. Neither Mayor John Tory nor City Council direct enforcement of any kind, including on this matter. Enforcement of provincial regulations, city bylaws to protect residents from COVID-19 is coordinated and integrated between this group, that group, this group. Each body has specific authorities, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so shut her down. Thanks very much. What is that other than the city's way of saying, John Tory, you do not tell the government who to arrest. You do not tell the police when to arrest someone, how many police cars to send, when to draw their gun. That was a stunning rebuke of one of Canada's worst mayors, and I know whenever I say that, I immediately think of 5 other mayors who are in contention for Canada's worst mayor. And one of these days we should have like a game show, a reality show, Canada's worst mayor. And we should have like a contest, but that's for another day. He hates Adam Skelly because Adam Skelly is the one guy who's not in the cartel. And all it takes is one dissenter for other folks to say, oh good, I'm not the only one. Oh good, I'm not the only one. That's why they hate this guy.
Yeah, you know what, and as God is my witness, I am going to dig and dig and dig until I find out exactly who tipped off the media so that they could Roger Stone Adam Skelly at 6 a.m. pre-dawn raid on a barbecue place. Media out there, we know the media, I've never seen a lazier bunch of people most of the time in the mainstream media. So the idea that they're out there in the cold at 6 a.m. or whenever that happened, pre-dawn for sure. You can see how dark it was. Somebody told them to be there, and I am going to find out.
I hear in my ear that they're breaking in right now. Put the tweet on right now. This is from our friend Joe Warmington. Yeah, play it if you can. Pump up the volume. So this is, do I have voiceover? Justin? So this is apparently the people breaking into Adamson's place. They changed the locks. The cops, you can see David in the middle there. You can see David got his signature hat. Look at that massive, did you see him for a second there? He's just to the left of the door.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that. They opened the door to the property, and let me say this, and this is courtesy of Joe Warmington, who put this on Twitter, and you can see our guy in his hat. I love that hat. It's a signature hat. So I'm
good.
sorry, we mashed that. That happened minutes ago. So at 6 a.m. raid, you saw the cops broke in. They tipped off their media friends, and so Adam Skelly went there with his own locksmith, broke in to his own restaurant, and were jamming in. Look at that crush of people. And wherever there's a crush of people, I want our top guy right in the middle. The horses just arrived. David's in this video too. Give me full screen.
There's
David. You saw the fedora. The ponies. So not for Black Lives Matter, not for Antifa, not for Extinction Rebellion, not for the hobos on City Hall, but if you are a working class Torontonian, they will bring the riot horses out to stomp you. That's what horses are for stomping. Yep. I don't know if you know this, Sheila, but actually horses, I know what I'm about to tell you is shocking and gross, but you can confirm it for yourself. But did you know that police horses from across North America were taken to Iraq to be trained on stepping on bodies?
I did not know that.
It's a terrible thing to say, and I shouldn't have even said it. But that police horses are trained to do things that no horse would naturally do. And so maybe my Nazi analogy, while still not a perfect one, is 1% closer to real. You did not see horses when there were Black Lives Matter protests in the middle. What you saw instead was Justin Trudeau violating social distancing and taking a knee. Only riot cops for the working class who don't get a paid staycation. Wow, thank you for that video update, Justin. John Tory, I want to show you a clip of John Tory. I think this is like number 8 on your list, Justin. Here's John Tory I think this is from last night, right? Is that what we're talking? This is last night. Look at him say what he's going to tell the cops to do and agree with the media, if this is the same clip I think it is, that we all got to shut this guy down because he's a political nuisance. Take a look.
Mayor John Tory, we will leave it there today, and we'll all wait and watch to see what plays out at Adamson BBQ today at 11 when that is supposed to open. Have a productive day. We'll chat with you again Friday.
Don't give this guy too much publicity. You know, it's a political, but a lot of this is a political stunt. So, you know,
Absolutely.
Let's be careful about that. We make a hero
but I mean,
out
that's
of this
the thing.
guy, in fact,
if the police had shut it down,
he's thumbing his nose at the system.
If the police had shut it down quickly yesterday, we wouldn't have given them that much publicity. That's part of the whole problem, right? I mean, the longer this is allowed to stay open, the longer we have to cover it.
I don't think it'll be open for long today, if at all. It shouldn't be open at all if this man was any kind of a respectful citizen and a person who really wanted to, respect the best interests of his fellow Torontonians. All right,
Mayor Tory, appreciate you joining us. We'll chat again soon.
So what did you see there, Sheila? You saw a mayor who inherited, $1 billion in his $7 million condo, loves the staycation, hasn't ever skipped a meal in his life, never been without $1, in his $7 million condo, talking to a media party journalist, says, you shouldn't cover it. The journalist says, absolutely, you're right. Yeah. We shouldn't cover him. The mayor doesn't say you shouldn't cover him. You shouldn't cover him because I disagree with him. Absolutely, you're right, says the journalist. Yep. You should have shut him down earlier, says the journalist. Absolutely, says the rich mayor. And the police should shut him down. I think that's why we had the press release. Maybe a city lawyer was saying, boss, you're called mayor, not tyrant. Yep. And by the way, I think all of this would be something you would show in court and say this. It was a stitch-up. This wasn't the normal actions of police. This was political. In fact, that moron mayor might actually be blowing up his own case. Can I show you one more clip and then we go to the Super Chats? And Sheila, you're better at reading Super Chats than me. Why don't we show one more clip? Justin, can we go to number 3 on your list there, the police blocking the entrance? Very exciting developments. Yep. What are police doing there at all? I understand you want to send a bylaw. The police are bravely blocking a man's restaurant. But we saw how that ended, didn't we? So look at that. They're blocking the place. I like that Fire Trudeau sign. That's great. So great. That's great. Severely normal people.
Look at that crowd. So blue collar.
Yeah, working. There's our
plaid.
David.
Love it.
There's David with the hat. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I saw a tweet that there were 20 cops, like it's some gang, like some Hell's Angels club or something, some clubhouse. Yep. But as we saw a moment ago, you want to throw it up as B-roll if you can, or if you're busy doing stuff, don't worry about it, Justin. If we can I just see here, Adam Skelly just got arrested. Breaking news. Yep. Now arrested, is he being detained? Probably, He's probably being handcuffed and taken away. Yeah,
I just saw that he was taken away in handcuffs.
Handcuffing a businessman, taking a knee for rioters. Welcome to Canada in 2020. Happy to go live with Lincoln if he's ready, but I don't want to take him away from the work he's doing there. I think we can continue to grab clips from other social media, Justin. I don't want to deter Lincoln and David from covering this story with you. All right, we're starting it right now, folks. I'm hearing this is happening right now. We are just, the latest news is that the police broke in to Adamson's BBQ at 6 a.m. with their allies in the media party in tow. 20 police officers, riot horses, blockaded the building. Well, Adam Skelly himself came with his own locksmith to his own place and broke into his own place. You saw the crowd pushing their way in and police not quite knowing what to do. What are police doing here anyways? The answer was clear from that clip of the mayor. What the mayor wants, the mayor gets. If the mayor wants you shut down, he will use police with guns and riot horses to shut you down. To hell with the courts, to hell with due process, to hell with police discretion, to hell with the nonpartisan independence of the police. John Tory wants what John Tory wants. The latest news, and grab it, Justin, if you can. We'll go live to Lincoln if he has a moment. I don't want to take him away from his real work. But apparently, Adam Skelly was arrested. Yep. What's the charge? Serving smoked meat. What's the charge? Being the
illegal barbecuing.
Illegal barbecuing? It is so clearly a political charge. And since when do police handcuff and arrest someone? Do we have a clip? Go straight to there we go.
Oh, here we go.
There we go. There we go. They got him down on the ground. There was another guy down on the ground. They're leading him out.
What a disgrace.
A disgrace. The police are a disgrace. What? That's Lincoln there. That's our guy Lincoln walking backwards. No. Don't interrupt Lincoln. That was our guy Lincoln walking backwards in front of that. Look at that. What a disgrace. What a disgrace for Canada that a massive
did you notice how the police cars are parked?
What's that, Sheila?
Did you notice how the police cars are parked at the end of the drive? They're blocking the entrance that people can't even pass. Look, down.
Handcuffed. Boy, the police are murdering their reputation today.
Wow.
The police are murdering their reputation. Show that clip one more time from the top, if you don't mind. There's so much in there. Thank you, Justin. And who's this clip from? I want to give them credit. Tina is Danny. I think she's with CTV or Global. Taken away in handcuffs. There's some other journalists there I recognize. Police taking a black man down. Why is the only one they take down a black man?
Yeah.
That's what a leftist would say. It is a good question, though. But that's the thing, working class, there's no barrier. Yeah, that's our guy Lincoln.
Yep.
People of every race, every background, working class primarily, people who are not the staycation class. You don't have a lot of people on the government gravy train here. The only people on the gravy train are the cops here today who have allowed themselves to be used as political tools. We have our story of the year, the story of the lockdown, and the only question is, will this one champion be thrown in the clink? I want to know, there's a lot of questions. Will he be thrown in jail and be forgotten? A political prisoner, absolutely no doubt about it. I don't dispute that the man may be in line for some bylaw infractions and some fines. Let the legal process work itself out. That's the difference between me and John Tory. Okay, Sheila, we got to say goodbye to you for a second. We got to grab Lincoln. Sheila, don't go away. We got Lincoln there. We won't keep him long because I want him to cover what's going on. Joining us now is our friend Lincoln, who... Oh, we need a second. We're patching through now. Lincoln was with David Menzies. Lincoln is a fairly new teammate here at Rebel News. He's done a lot of great journalism for us. He was there when we caught Patrick Brown sneaking into the theater. I hear a connection. You let me know when we have video. I can hear some audio in my ear. Lincoln was also there when David was attacked by a dog. And of course, Lincoln is there when Adamson's BBQ was raided by a police SWAT team. I think it's a SWAT team. We know they had riot horses. There were at least 20 police. I saw plenty of police cars. They tackled a black man. Why did they tackle him? And of course, they arrested a man for illegal barbecuing. Apparently, illegal barbecuing is the... We've got David. Put him through when you're ready. This is live. David, can you hear me? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 20 cops. You got cops on horseback. You got riot police. This is the Alamo. This is the largest mustering of police since the G20. The Black Lives Matter protest didn't do it. The hobos in city parks didn't do it. The gangland crime wave, record shootings in Toronto didn't do it. But one man and his smoked meat did it. It is legal in Trudeau's Canada to smoke marijuana. It is not legal in Canada to smoke meat. And I should tell you that the police today not only took down an entrepreneur, they took down their own reputation. The amount of goodwill being burnt by these willing patsies. Why didn't they just say, nah, thanks, mate. You can send in your bylaw officers and give a ticket. We're not going to deploy the largest mustering of force in Toronto since the G20 to crush a man because we don't act as errand boys for Toronto's third-rate mayor, John Tory, and his war against the working class. Look at the people there. They have all learned a lesson today about raw power. Look at the police blocking people in. How many police cars are there? 20? Moms and kids. And there's the media party. One thing I love about the media party is that Adam Skelly, he knows which way's up. He told those shills, those Justin Journos, that they are not allowed on his private property. He made them stay on the other side of the street, and of course, like good boys and girls, they did. They know their place. Their place is with the riot police. They're an affiliate of John Tory. You saw last night the snitching and the ratting. When will you take him down? There's a friend of ours. When will you take him down? When will you lock him down? John Tory is like a pillow. He has the impression of whoever last sat upon him. And you saw in real time how some clickbait journalist said, Mayor, why don't you shut him down? And he said, okay, well, maybe I will. And he deploys Toronto's police as his personal shock troops because you know what, guys? There was some illegal smoked meat going on in there. There are gun crimes every day in this city. But take people off the gun beat. Take people off the mass shooting beat. Take people off the, oh, look at, good for them. Good for them. I don't even know who that is. There's a little bit of praying going on. Good for them. Yeah. Shame those cops. I don't know if they have any shame. Imagine saying, I want to grow up and be a cop. Yeah, look at that guy. Good for him. I don't know who he is, but if he's allowed on the property, he's not a media party journalist. I salute Adam Skelly. We are all essential. Ain't that the truth? The staycation class, the government class, has loved, there's our friend Joe Warmington, has loved the last 7 months. They haven't lost a minute's pay. Look at these people there. They're sorrow and stunning. They're stunned, slightly stunned in my assessment from afar, because most Canadians admire the police, respect the police, even love the police. They trust the police. And one of the reasons why is the police are not partisan. The police will help anyone of any background, but that can't really be said truthfully in Toronto now, at least not to the full extent, can it? Imagine being in charge of the riot horses and saying, yeah, we'll send the riot horses down to the smoked meat restaurant. That's completely peaceful. It was a completely peaceful protest, but let's tackle a black man. I don't know why they tackled him. Yeah, there's people here of everywhere. There's our buddy David Menzies. Hey, David, can you hear me? There he is.
Say a few words for the live stream. Oh, is the live stream on?
Yeah, you're live, my friend.
Are we on now?
Yeah.
I don't think he can hear me. Give me some words.
You're seeing right now the end result of lies and media propaganda. You all wanted to know how powerful media can be. You're seeing it right now. This is an open house shoving pork and grits and coleslaw. Yes, you got to use that horsepower in order to get the officers here. Stopping us from going in because of mainstream media. It's very lucky that nobody was trampled by these horses. But I'm kind of wondering, just where the hell am I in Toronto or am I in Pyongyang, North Korea? I mean, we have 400 meters down the street from Costco, jammed to the gills. Hundreds, if not thousands of people in that big box store. Business is booming thanks to the lockdown. No one's got any other choice of where to serve, where to shop. And a small mom restaurant can't be open. This is John Tory's most disgraceful day as the mayor of Toronto, using a bazooka to kill a proverbial mosquito. This is disgusting what this mayor has done. This is the same mayor that turned a blind eye to a bunch of thugs, Antifa types in June, July that occupied Bakerfield Square. And yet, that's okay. But here, this is all right.
Someone down on the ground. I don't know if they fell down, were knocked down, were pushed over. Someone's on the ground there. That was our friend David Menzies. He was speaking into a microphone. The microphone was not connected to the camera, but I did make out some of his comments. He talked about women and children, and yet the riot horses are here. He compared this to North Korea. He mentioned that just 400 meters down the road is a Costco, and how all the big box stores are still allowed to be open, including selling food. He said this is using a bazooka to attack the proverbial mosquito, and he said that John Tory, on this disgraceful day, has responded to a smoked meat restaurant with tremendous police response, and no police were there when Antifa occupied the front plaza called Nathan Phillips Square outside the Toronto. There's the lovely Miss Jenny. The police did not use any force whatsoever to remove the Antifa encampment at Nathan Phillips Square that was there for weeks. Now, I don't know what this man is doing on the ground, if it's a protest, if he's doing some sort of passive resistance, or if he was knocked down. The police don't seem to be interacting with him. It looks like he was okay. I saw him rolling over. Maybe he's just doing a dramatic form of passive resistance. Of course, the proprietor of the establishment you saw was led away in handcuffs. I wonder whether they're taking him most likely to a police station, and then I think they're going to keep him in jail. I think they're not going to release him. I don't know under what law they would seek to hold him, but clearly they're going full G20 here. And I bet you that they will strip him naked, strip search him, and put him in solitary confinement. I don't know who that guy is speaking in the most animated way to police or to other protesters. I don't quite know. Someone in a truck giving a speech. I heard the word Justin Trudeau. Fair enough. I'm a critic of Justin Trudeau as well, but I also happen to know that Justin Trudeau does not direct the Toronto Police Service. That is the Toronto Police Service is directed by the police commissioner, the police chief, but as we all saw, it was actually directed by John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, whipped up by the media party. But really, it's the disgrace of the police commanders who allowed themselves to follow a bit of a motley crew here, from people from different factions and parties and activists. It's a collection of everyone, I think, who's fed up with the two-tier lockdown. One tier for the fancy people, another for the working people. One tier for the staycation class, another for the working class. One tier for the big box stores that, of course, remain open, and the other for the little guy. And I love, love, love the fact that the media party was told to stay off the property. Although now, there's more cops on this side. There's got to be 50 cops there. Who's that person on his knees? Who's that person on his knees? He's praying. Well, I appreciate the thought and the spirit of it. I don't know if that's going to deter a secular police force that has obeyed whatever whim the mayor commands them to do. Some cops wearing jeans. I don't even know who those guys are. How many firearms are there today? How many firearms are there? I mean, you've got dozens. Are there 50 police? I think there's 50 cops there. Huh. Well, every front page tomorrow. I know what the headlines are going to be. The Toronto Star is going to call the protesters white supremacists, especially the black guy who was knocked down. But I think they just made a martyr out of Adam Skelly. Don't shoot. Well, it's probably a good idea to wear a shirt like that. What do those signs say? Individuals have rights, not the greater good, society or government. True enough, yeah. Fear is the currency of control. Yeah. What's the other one say? Are these essential to you? Joe Fresh, local clothing boutique. Yeah, Joe Fresh or the others, McDonald's or Jim's. Yeah, exactly. Flowers at Walmart's or your local florist. Joe Fresh or your local clothing boutique. Exactly. The two-tier lockdown. The two-tier lockdown. There's the ruling class that makes the rules for everyone else. The ruling class doesn't follow their own rules, though. A couple of media party journalists, knowing better than to step on the property from which they've been ejected. Well, I think the main excitement is over. Just for those joining us now, Adam Skelly, the proprietor of Adamson's BBQ, this location in Etobicoke. He also has locations in Leaside, that's a neighborhood in Toronto, and Aurora, that's a city just north of Toronto. Very popular, outstanding barbecue food, who's operated in defiance of the lockdown for 3 days. On the third day, the police dispatches a riot squad with riot horses. There's got to be 50 police. I think there's got to be 20 cars. That looks like some boss man there. And they locked the doors. Skelly broke the lock on his own doors, went in. You saw people going in. And then the cops basically said, get ready to go to prison, threw a black man on the ground, arrested Adam Skelly, and you're watching the aftermath. I don't know what that guy's doing on the ground there. He's moving around, so I don't think he's hurt. I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he's, I don't know. Lots of cops. I wonder if when those cops were boys and girls, they said, I want to grow up and be a policeman. I want to go to the police academy. I want to learn how to use a gun. I want to learn how to follow the law. I want a nice uniform and a badge. And then I want to be sent out to shut down restaurants. I want to be on the restaurant. This is really like, I can imagine this is what it was like in Prohibition, when bars were shut down, when alcohol was banned. Did they ever use this much force to shut down bars when Prohibition was afoot? We have a new kind of prohibition, but it's very selective. Here we have prohibition of smoked meat in a private restaurant. Oh, what's the chant?
You know, there's a frequency on YouTube.
Stand down, I think they're saying. That's what Justin thinks.
Choose your side. Choose your side, or you're going to learn to gallop, boys and girls.
Well, their leader was taken away to the police station, I presume, to jail, I presume. They're going to try and hold him out overnight. I don't know if they have the legal authority to do so. I don't think he's being charged with a crime. These are bylaw offenses. There may be some health directive offense. I don't know the powers of the emergency management laws as they affect this establishment. I would be surprised if they could hold him in a jail overnight, but I think they'll do it anyways. I mean, I am surprised that they have riot horses out here, but they did it anyways, because when the mayor says send the riot horses, the police chief apparently does what the mayor says. All right. Well, I don't think there's going to be any developments there. Maybe we'll keep our eye on things, Justin, and I want to bring Sheila back in. It's 12:53. I'm afraid we have so many super chats. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through them. Let's bring Sheila back in. And Justin, if there's any developments, if there's new clips you see on Twitter, if we get calls from either David or Lincoln on the ground, let's immediately go back to them. But let's bring Sheila back in to help digest what we've just seen. That was live footage from our team on the ground there. I'm not sure if that was Lincoln who was filming that. Was that Lincoln or was that someone else there? That was Lincoln. Good for him. And of course we said hi to David. It was a little bit hard to hear David because the phone that was broadcasting that video was not connected to David's handheld microphone. So we will have a higher quality audio version of what David said, but I heard enough of it. And I repeated that on to you. And here Sheila joins us again. Sheila, what do you think of what we just saw?
I can't believe what I just saw. I actually had to call my husband into the room because it was so unbelievable to see riot police blocking the entrance to a restaurant. And that crowd there is enormous. But if you look in some of the footage that you showed, the cops had the streets blocked off at the end of the street. They had 2 cop cars parked like this and cops up there. So they weren't allowing more protesters or more people to come and show support for Adam Skelly, or I guess more witnesses to the absolute police atrocity that we saw there. This is going to be a real flashpoint for, I think, international attention. John Tory and Doug Ford should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. And I can't believe that good, decent police officers signed up to protect people in their city to become the political enforcement arm of a bitter and vindictive mayor like John Tory. As God is my witness, I will find out who tipped the media off to this, and we're going to find out everything we can about who made the decision to do what they did to Adam Skelly today. I'm just astounded at the images that I'm seeing. It's shocking.
Well, Sheila, you live in northern Alberta and I live here in Toronto, which is why you are shocked by it, but I am not. This city has, one of the worst mayors, we know that. He is soft on real crime, hard on political disagreeers. This is a city, there are wonderful people in this city. I work amongst them here at our headquarters. But this is also a city of paranoia and fear and snitches and informants. And that's the class that John Tory runs in. He runs in a class of people who now they don't have any religion. Their new religion is the face mask. And their new high priest is Theresa Tam. And they don't think of hell, they think of, heaven and hell, they think of, if you're a bad person, you have to wear this mask, that is sin. They don't believe in normal sinning, but it's a grave sin to them to defy their new public health deep state. So he runs in the staycation class, in the ruling class. He's fine, like the cognitive dissonance that he manages to suppress, the fact that you've got Walmart, Costco, McDonald's. So McDonald's, no problem. Walmart, no problem. Costco, no problem. But this guy is a problem. That's Toronto. So this is John Tory being really butch, deploying the riot police to, theoretically, the reason you have the riot horses is to stomp. That's what the purpose is, Sheila. That's what they learned in Iraq, stomp on dead bodies.
This is the same John Tory that walked around the protesters in Nathan Phillips Square as not to bother them, as not to annoy them. He walked around them to go to work every day. He allowed them to squat there for a month or so, allows people with violent dogs in public parks as squatters, doesn't do a darn thing about it, and sends in the riot cops because he made being an entrepreneur illegal in Toronto. It's shocking. I'm just shocked at the images. Like I feel like I'm at a loss for words for what I'm seeing. I heard that there was a shooting last night in Mississauga. Maybe the city could take some cops off the guy just trying to keep his head above water beat and deal with some actual real crime, because this is outrageous.
Justin, there's so much interest in this right now. We've got 5,000 people on the stream. I know we were premiering David's videos, so that's at 1:30, so we're going to stay a little long here. I think that's the thing to do. And can you check Warmington's feed and other feeds? And I don't know if Lincoln is on the line. Is anything else cooking there, or are people... Okay, so another one of our teammates, Andrew Chapados, is on the scene. There's David. I can't get any... Oh, they're just hanging... I think people are just hanging out. Who's holding the camera? Yeah, so I'm not getting a lot of faces. I'm getting a lot of stomachs. And I guess Andrew's not a cameraman. But I think that's sort of what it's like over there. People are milling around because you're not going to go through a wall of 50 cops and a bunch of riot horses. The whole purpose of a riot horse is to say, we're going to stomp on you if you pass, so don't try and pass. They took away the leader in handcuffs. They threw that one black man down to the ground. I don't know why they picked on him. There's that other guy lying on the ground. I don't know exactly what for. So the question in my mind is, will it end? Or will someone say, you know what? I'm not demoralized, I'm disgusted. And I am the next one. Hey, for those of you who don't know, we have a new teammate in Melbourne, Australia. He's been with us for 3 months now, so it's not quite so new, but he's just killing it down there. They had the strictest lockdowns in the Western world. You couldn't go more than 5 kilometers past your house. They had police checkpoints on the street. Total lockdown of stores, restaurants, etc. Even people out individually, if they didn't have a proper purpose, were arrested and fined. They fined a homeless guy $1,500 for being out past a curfew. They had curfews every night. But how does a homeless guy obey a curfew when he doesn't have a home? It was insane. And then we started covering a little trickle of dissonance. I want to show you the seed crystal in Australia. Can we show Harry's clothing? Do you know what I'm talking about, Justin? There was a guy named Harry, and he had a clothing store, well named Harry's Clothing. And he decided one day, he said, you know what, I'm going out of business. They're killing me. I'm just going to open up, because it can't be worse than going out of business. And he opened up, and the police came, And then the next day, a hair salon said, well, if Harry's opening, we're opening. And then the next day, a couple of Indian restaurants saw Harry and saw the salon open. They said, well, if Harry's opening and if the salon's opening, we're opening. And one became two, and two became three. And then there was a report that the police said to the premier of the state, we're losing the people. We're losing the consent of the governed. And it was then, only then, that Premier Dan Andrews of the Australian state of Victoria lifted the most punitive parts of the lockdown. So it can start with just one person, or it can be snuffed out. Here, let's just listen a little bit to Harry's.
Oh, obviously on the issue with the phone.
Sorry, we had a different audio going at the same time there. I do want to show you a little bit of Harry's, just because I want to, it always starts with one
has
guy.
Today defied lockdown restrictions in Victoria by opening his clothing store to the public. Harry Hutchinson told me that he has no choice but to open his business or it'll go under. Police were on the scene when I arrived and indicated to the small business owner that he might be issued with a $9,913 fine for opening against the Chief Health Officer's directions.
So, staff that you've got on today, just old
Sam.
mate there?
Yeah.
Just the one?
Yes.
Oh, you obviously know why we're here?
Yes, I do know why you're here, and you've got to do your job.
Alright, so very simple. I'll just let you know, you don't have to say or do anything. Anything you say or do may be recorded and given in evidence.
Yeah, sure.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Just want to ask you what your reason is for breaching the Chief Health Officer's directive.
Easy. To survive.
Oh.
And to get all small businesses. I'm the voice for small business. And this is my action. And I realise that we can't open, but enough is enough. And, I'm sure if you weren't wearing that uniform, you'd be supporting me.
Alright, so I'm happy with your ID. We'll go make some further inquiries. You're the owner of this business?
Yes.
Alright. So you obviously understand the penalties that may apply
Yes,
for
I understand.
these breaches?
Yep.
Alright. We will leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to have to go higher up with this anyway,
sure,
just before we start issuing out any penalty notices. You know, they're obviously quite significant amounts.
Yes, I do, yeah.
Alright. We'll make a couple of phone calls, let you know what's going to happen, and then we'll be on our way.
Okay, no worries at all.
Was this a complaint by a neighbour?
No comment.
Did you get
what-
stuff details?
Yeah, I've got. What's your intention from here? Are you going to
my
stay
intention-
open for the rest of the day, or are you going to close up?
To be honest with you, our stock is depleted.
Yeah.
Thank God, which means I will survive and I'll be able to continue my business. In fact, this afternoon I've got to get on the phone and order new stock. I knew they were coming.
You knew they were coming?
Yes.
So you're obviously taking a stand here?
Oh, I am taking a stand, and I'm taking a stand not for Harry's clothing. The stand is...
You know, it does go on. I don't want to play too much more of it because the energy level is a little bit different. All I'm saying is that Harry took a stand, Avi reported it, then the next day a salon took a stand, and it grew and it grew and it grew.
Yep.
And that is what we're at right now. Everyone knows the story. 3 days in a row, a blue-collar restaurateur fought the fight until he physically could do so no longer. His arms or his hands were chained behind his back in handcuffs. He was led away to the police station, to jail. I don't know if he'll even be released. So he physically cannot do any more. You saw over 100 people milling around not knowing quite what to do. They couldn't charge the horses. So now what? Is it over? Did John Tory snuff out his political opponent, and was it just that one guy? Or will there be someone else? Is there anyone else who will say, you know what, enough with the two-tier lockdown, enough with the well-paid staycations for the ruling class and poverty and lockdowns for the rest? What do you think, Sheila? Do you think we saw the last brave man in Toronto, or do you think there's others?
I don't think we've seen the last brave man. I think this will be, and I'm hoping, you do know Toronto better than I do, but I know that if this had happened in Alberta, this would be the catalyst for something greater. I don't know if John Tory's capable of shame, but he should be ashamed of what happened there today. To see a man led away in handcuffs because he's trying to feed his family, and he's trying to give his staff a way to feed their families during a 2-tier lockdown, 400 meters from a Costco that's full of people and serving hot food. What an absolute disgrace. Now, will we see the media put questions to John Tory about what they saw today, or are they even slightly annoyed by it? Because I bet we're going to hear more crying about the parking tickets the media got yesterday than what took place today on the front lines of the barbecue wars of Toronto.
Yeah. Well, actually, Justin, you know that clip you played of John Tory and that journalist conspiring in public? Normally those are the sorts of things they do when the cameras are off, but conspiring in public, hey, let's make a deal. You don't give him any good press, and I'll send in the cops. Deal? Deal. Yeah. That's a 10-second summary of this video that was played in public, because normally you don't talk this way in public. Let me know when we got the clip. Here, let's take a look.
To our behavior at Christmas.
Mayor John Tory, we will leave it there today, and we'll all wait and watch to see what plays out in at Adamson BBQ today at 11 when that is supposed to open. Have a productive day. We'll chat with you again Friday.
Don't give this guy too much publicity. You know, it's a political. A lot of this is a political stunt. So, you know,
absolutely,
let's be careful about that. We make a hero
but I mean,
out of
that's
this
the
guy
thing.
when, in fact,
if the police had shut it down,
his nose at the system.
If the police had shut it down quickly yesterday, we wouldn't have given them that much publicity. That's part of the whole problem, right? I mean, the longer this is allowed to stay open, the longer we have to cover it.
I don't think it'll be open for long today, if at all. It shouldn't be open at all if this man was any kind of a respectful citizen and a person who really wanted to, respect the best interests of his fellow Torontonians.
All right, Mayor Tory, appreciate you joining us. We'll chat again soon.
So there it is.
Yep.
I don't think you guys should cover it. Okay.
Okay, we wouldn't.
Cover it, but you got to arrest him. Otherwise, we have to cover it. Oh, okay. I expect that'll happen shortly. And there it is. I didn't know that that's how policing was done in Toronto in 2020, but of course it is.
Well, and is it any wonder that Adam Skelly has these mobsters across the street off his property? Yeah. I mean, they're not there in any good faith at all. They're there actively cheering for him to be locked up. So yeah, you're not allowed in the barbecue press gallery with David Menzies and the folks from Post Millennial and Joe Warmington. You can stay across the street and enjoy all the parking tickets that you can handle. By the way, why didn't those people put money in the meter? Like, are they so privileged that they just think they can park anywhere? I guess so.
Yeah. Well, it's very incredible. Hey, Justin, do we have any more word from the scene? I just got an email saying that a member of the provincial parliament named Randy Hillier was going over from Queen's Park to join them. Obviously, it's a little bit late. Okay, I hear that Randy Hillier is on his way over, and if he arrives, we will take that. Sheila, I also hear that David is still on the scene, and that Andrew Chapados, who we briefly had his Instagram feed on, is there. Justin, if we can connect with David with better audio. See, David was talking into his mic that was connected to a different source. If we can get, now that it's probably quieter, or if we can even indicate to David to step away from the noisiest part, I'd love to take
earbuds.
Yeah, earbuds. That's a good idea. So I don't even know if David has those. Justin, can you work perhaps with Efron or Eitan to set that up with David? So, folks, David's on the scene. David's been our #1 pandemic reporter, and he's covered this Adamson story since the get-go. I like your phrase, Sheila, that we got the barbecue press gallery, because you know what? That same reporter was talking about legitimate reporters are kept on.
Yep.
Well, legitimate, eh? Says you, mate. Says you. The people don't seem to say so.
Yeah.
But hey, you keep holding on to that. You keep holding on to your Christmas party invitations from the mayor. See, that's the thing. Oh, I know this. I mean, when you challenge the authority, all of a sudden you're, one of them. He's not our kind, dear. David Menzies will never get an invitation to John Tory's Christmas party. He'll never get a little hand, I got this. You know, he'll never pose for selfies with Justin Trudeau like Rosemary Barton of the CBC did.
Yep.
And if he were to pose for a selfie, he would never be brazen enough to tweet it as Rosemary Barton did. And that's because we're independent. When John Tory and Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford cultivate and condition and groom reporters, it's like that little gross menage a deux we saw last night between Tory and that reporter. If you're part of the media party, that's what you do. Especially if you take cash from Justin Trudeau, that's what you do. The reason why only post-millennial, Joe Warmington, and David Menzies are allowed on scene is because those are the only reporters that aren't bought off by John Tory and Doug Ford. That's a fact.
Yep. Speaking of not being bought off, should we get to some of these super chats? Because that's how we pay the bills around here.
I'm going to whip through them because you know me, I start going down tangents.
I know. Liard Kintyre gives us $5. Goebbels had one thing right, say it loud and often, and people believe. That sounds like something Catherine McKenna actually said. So many buying into the government and media-fueled virus hysteria, despite being a small risk. Let's keep going. Lisa Proust, regular donor, regular super chatter. Couldn't love you more, Sheila, David, and Rebel News. Thank you very much, Lisa. Cindy McNichol gives us $20. Thank you very much. And she sends us a pear character looking at himself in the mirror, saying, thanks for being you, with hearts popping out of his eyes. Matt B300 gives us $2. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Ezra. Hi. Cindy McNichol again, another $20. Thank you very much. United, we are stronger. There is more of us than them. Cindy McNichol again, $5. Keep it up. We will, Cindy. Thank you. Barry Ho, $10. Thank you. Zona Rosa Smith, $20.99. All the hard work Rebel News does is appreciated. Thank you very much. Half Blind Hecklers, $5. The need to stand up and protest in Canada has never been more vital. We hope to see and interview many here Saturday in Calgary. I think you guys have an anti-lockdown protest happening in Calgary on Saturday. If I can make it, I'll do my best to be there. Viking Insane, $2. Kenney isn't sincere. He's just afraid of Wexit. There might be some truth to that, but I think Kenney also got a real earful over the summer from a lot of people whose businesses were absolutely destroyed by his arbitrary decision. Moneybags gives us $2. Don't see a super chat. Cindy McNichol gives us $10. My niece's teacher went to work for 3 days and coughed all over the kids. And now they say COVID and all are quarantined in Elliott's area too. Shame on you, Ford. Parents are angry now. Viking Insane, $2. There's a pandemic, rampant, irrational leftism. Wolfcat Wildcat gives us $15. I was listening to the mainstream media and Toronto News. They mentioned a motion to ban nonsensical items sales like certain states did. Stupid, do you mean non-essential items? Like how they did in Manitoba, they were roping off things that you shouldn't be buying. Could be the case. Fraser McBurney, $12. Can you name me one draconian government in history that quarantined the healthy and destroyed the economy? Personally, I can't think of one. Contribute to the defense fund. Margaret Granny McKay, $5. During Boris Johnson's live broadcast, I shared Rebel News Fight the Fines and your website many, many times in the feed. LOL. Thank you very much. Tory 1912, $29.99. I don't see a super chat there. Peter Bass, $5. A tyrant with a minority used a crisis to seize power, declared himself dictator, and is setting us up for the full takedown. It feels like 1933 Germany. Durfi gives us $2. Is the LCBO and beer store still open in Toronto? I think so.
I just hear in my ear that David has now moved to a quieter place, or it's quieter in general, and we're able to take him. I'm really glad that you went through those super chats, and it is our standard practice to get through all of them. I have to say that might not happen today, just given the importance of going on the scene. Mm-hmm. So, and what's that, Lincoln? Got it. So we're going to go to David now. Folks, can you do me a favor before we do that? Can you just quickly click like and subscribe? Because we're going to be doing more vids, and I'd like you to get notifications. So if you like it, thank you. Share it, thank you. But subscribe and ring that little bell, because frankly, YouTube suppresses our live streams. When you got 1.4 million viewers or subscribers, but only 1,000 people get the notification bell, that's being suppressed, sorry. If you like, subscribe, and click the bell, hopefully you'll get notice when we do more. And we're doing these every day, as you know. All right, let's go to David. Do we have David on the line? Hey, David, can you hear me? David, can you hear me?
Can you hear? No.
You can't hear me, eh? Who's holding the camera? Is it Lincoln?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe Lincoln can just. Hi, Lincoln. How you doing? Maybe you can just say my words to David and make sure we get the audio of him. I just want him to give a report. Maybe he can just riff for 2 minutes on what he's seen.
Yeah, so so there was a big holdup between protesters and the police themselves, and it got to the point where the mounties on the horses came by, and it looked like they were going to hold the doors secure for a bit, but it looked like at the end of the day they ended up getting Adam Skelly while he was inside the restaurant and ended up taking him right outside and walking him down about 100 yards to a police car where he was initially taken away by police. So David can probably comment a little bit further on that here.
Sure.
Hey Ezra, how you doing? I'm so sorry I cannot hear you. We have technical difficulties with the audio, but I will tell you what went down here just about an hour ago. It was that we had
we're on a corner, so it blocks the sound.
Sorry, Ezra. Around 12:30, one of the doors to Adamson's BBQ was kicked in from the inside out. What happened then is that there was a swarm of supporters and customers, would-be customers, going in with the police officers pushing back. It was absolute chaos. A bunch of people got in, and then the police maintained their physical wall to prevent others, and then started pushing back. I took a tumble, of course, but what else is new? And then just minutes later, the mounted unit came, well, I won't say charging in, but galloping in. I thought it was a very unsafe speed for these horses to be coming into this parking lot because there were children around it. There could have been a serious incident. And so you literally now have all the King's men and all the King's horses doing a human and animal barricade to customers trying to get into the restaurant. At one point, Adam Skelly came out. He was immediately arrested and taken away in a police cruiser. I don't know what the charges are, but I can tell you, I'm having trouble determining if I'm in the city of Toronto or if I'm somewhere in Venezuela or North Korea. This is John Tory's most shameless day as a mayor. This is absolutely shameful what's happened today. The way he has shut down this restaurant by force. Like I said before, 400 meters away, there is a Costco, and it is jammed to the gills. Business has never been better. You think people are social distancing there? No. And where the hell is Premier Doug Ford on this? Just 2 years ago, he said he was for the people. He said that Ontario opened for business, and now look at this show of force. This is absolutely disgraceful. I know Doug Ford wants us to sit on our candy asses baking cherry cheesecake indoors and not doing anything, but people have a living to maintain. And we have seen the city, we have seen the state use a bazooka to eradicate a small businessman today and to send a signal, set an example to anyone else. You dare open up, and your name isn't Costco or Walmart or Loblaws. Well, you are going to be tossed. You're going to be put out of business with force if need be. Ezra, it is an absolute disgrace what we saw over here, and my fervent wish is that other retailers won't be kowtowed into submission and they won't bend the knee, but rather they will rise up, because there's no way the city has this many resources to do this to every rebellious retailer. Like I said, this is a disgraceful day for the city of Toronto.
All right, thank you very much, David. I don't know if you can hear me, David. Lincoln, if you can hear me, I have one question for David that wasn't answered. From what I gather, that there were people who swarmed in and Adam Skelly was inside. It was only when he came out that he was snatched and arrested. So my question, Lincoln, I don't know if you can hear me, is Are there still people in the restaurant? Are there staff? Are there customers? Are they still serving food in the restaurant right now?
So the last, about 15 minutes ago, the last time I was on that side of the restaurant, there were in fact people inside the restaurant. I've seen people coming out with takeout, everything. So somehow with all of this going on outside, they're still figuring out how to get food to the people, which is, I guess, one of the only positive things going on here. But yeah, it seems like there are people still inside.
Isn't that interesting? It looks like no one new is getting in, so those must have been people who were in, finishing their meals and ordering some to go. I mean, it's quite a surreal thing. Thanks, Lincoln. Are there any final thoughts you want to share with us, or that David does?
Final thoughts. It's really tough to see a hardworking man like Adam just to see his restaurant, and probably something he's worked so hard and so long for it to have this kind of brutal reaction from the police. It's tough to see, and it's kind of scary. David probably has a few last thoughts also here.
Yeah, Ezra, my last thoughts are, the question right now is that there are several hundred people, maybe more than 1,000 or two, supporters of Adam. They realize they're not getting fed, but they don't care about getting brisket. What they're here for is freedom and to take a stance. And again, for this to happen in the city of my birth, in a Western democracy, to have this brutal show of force to shut down one little restaurateur as the big guys the red carpet is rolled out for. It is an absolute disgrace. John Tory and Doug Ford have a hell of a lot of explaining to do because they're not for the people. Ontario is not open for business. It's quite the contrary. And I don't know where it's going to go from here. Ezra will be on site as long as we can stay here. And because as far as I can tell, these freedom fighters, these people that care about democracy, of course, the mainstream media, they'll call these people super spreaders. They'll call these people irresponsible. But we know they're the Praetorian Guard for the government, Ezra. I mean, for goodness sakes, they're getting paid by the government. Anyways, as long as they're here, we'll be here for as long as you need us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephen. I actually do have one more question. I don't know if we're still connected. I saw one man lying on the ground near police. He seemed to be okay. He was just lying there. But I also saw footage of someone, it looked like he was being tackled to the ground by police. He was a black man. Was there any violence? What went on there? Were there fisticuffs? Was anyone else arrested? Why was that black man tackled to the ground? Why was that other man lying on the ground? Do you know the answers to those questions?
Yeah, the black man that was lying on the ground, Ezra, I believe that was Michael Arana. He runs a social media website. He's a commentator. I think that was a deliberate stunt, if you will. He was lying there because he did get up later and he didn't seem any worse for wear. I didn't see the other person you mentioned being tackled. And as of right now, I don't know if there have been any other arrests. The police originally, many hours ago, said that everybody here could be charged if they so choose to. I think that's highly unlikely. So thank goodness there hasn't been anyone being injured or worse. But I'll tell you, Ezra, what a hell of a display for the city to use to put out of business one little Ma and Pa restaurant. Like I said, John Tory, you are an absolute disgrace. You are a fake conservative. You are a phony, a fraud. And, I just wish that mayor had the testicular fortitude to show up here and explain to these people why Adamson's BBQ is restaurant non grata, but you can go to Costco 400 meters down the road and you can get a hamburger and French fries, no problem, with Mayor Tory's blessing. Shame on you, Mayor Tory, and shame on you, Doug Ford.
All right, well said, my friend. You've done outstanding journalism. Thanks to Lincoln also, who has bravely been there. And when I say brave, it's true. He has been in some very testy situations along with you. So we're grateful to both of you. And I know Andrew Chapados, a third teammate, is there also. So much going on. We're going to say goodbye to you now, David and Lincoln, but we may reconnect with you. I want to wrap up this live stream because in 5 minutes, am I right, Justin? We are premiering a mini documentary, I guess you could call it. It's just a produced video. Is that right? Of David's visit yesterday? I haven't even seen it yet. How long is it? It's about 12 minutes long, but it's well done. It was edited by our team yesterday and this morning. So I want you to see that. So we've brought you the breaking news. I think it's clear that there is no more likelihood of breaking news on the scene. That may change if the MPP, Randy Hillier, arrives, although I don't think anything more would happen other than a speech. You can see, as David calls it, all the king's horses and all the king's men standing guard. God forbid someone wants a sandwich. If you want a sandwich, go to the big box store down the street, go to Costco. I mean, it's clear that Adam Skelly, can you throw the iPolitics story up from yesterday? The iPolitics story of the Walmart lobbyists. It's clear that the problem Adam Skelly has is that he didn't hire lobbyists. There was a story in iPolitics yesterday that Walmart hired 2 Doug Ford staffers, Melissa Lantzman and Kevin Tarrant. Paid them a staggering amount of money to get a meeting with Doug Ford. So there we go. So the CEO of Walmart gets a private face-to-face with the Premier and says, "Hey, Premier, how you doing? Now, as you know, I'm a big supporter, and I paid your former staff well to get this meeting. So can you let us stay open and sell food and sell non-essentials? And can you do us a favor and shut down our competitors?" And Doug Ford, like I say, like a seat cushion, retains the impression of the last people that sat upon him. And he said, "Oh, sure, I'm with the global transnational corporations. Ford Nation can pound sand." Hey, guys. What's that? Got it. Guys, it looks like we're starting a petition. Let's go there right now. Free Adam Skelly. Free Adam Skelly.com. Free Adam Skelly. Let's get an email out. Free Adam Skelly. What's the text of it? Adam Skelly of Adamson BBQ has been arrested. Demand that Adam is freed now. Go, go, go. Everybody click over. Click right now. Can we put that in the comments stream? Free Adam Skelly. Can we email this to our people? Free Adam Skelly. I don't even know what charges he's arrested on. I think it's an illegal arrest. All right, folks, we didn't get through to all the Super Chats. We will catch up on those Super Chats another time. But I am signing off now because, number one, I want you to click on Free Adam Skelly. And we're going to figure out where to deliver that. We'll have David deliver it. And number two, I want you to stick around, click away from this, and click onto our homepage, and in literally 1 minute, I'm sorry we didn't have a proper chance to say a proper goodbye to Sheila. Thanks, Sheila. We will come back. We're going to keep these Super Chats and catch up with them later. In fact, maybe after this premiere, maybe we'll come back. I have a little bit of work to do, so maybe Sheila will host. I don't know if she's got the time. So I'm going to say goodbye now. Everybody click over on our website. David's, is it 12 minutes? 12-minute video on this whole story, filmed yesterday, premiering in 1 minute. So I don't want to interfere with that. So I'm going to say goodbye now. And click over to Free Adam Skelly, but click to watch David's video. I'm going to say goodbye now. I think we'll be back shortly, okay? Keep fighting for freedom, everybody.